The 6 o'clock Rock Report. Radio Nova.
One Republic are going to be at the Olympia Theatre this coming Monday evening. Caught up recently on the phone with Zach Filkins, who's the band's lead guitarist, and somehow we got talking about the weather and how it affects you and how Ireland's cold and wet and blah, blah, blah.
I don't know. I just think that if I can't just go outside and see the sun, and I can start to feel it in my mood a little bit.
Yeah.
You know?
And would that be a bad time for you to start writing songs if you were feeling that way?
No, that would actually be the best time to write songs. No one wants to hear songs about like sunny days and good weather. You know what I mean?
Oh man, come on! DJ Jazzy Jeff made his living out of it.
That's true, actually.
Summertime.
That's right. Time to sit back and unwind. You know what I'm saying?
There you go. The Kinks on a sunny afternoon. You know.
Yeah.
Anyway, listen, you guys.
Me wrong, man.
Yeah. Tell me, what are we going to get at this show?
Actually, one thing that we're doing at this point, we realized, number one, we spent a lot of time away. And which some of our fans are very upset about, and for good reason, because we shouldn't have spent so much time away. But also we have played quite a few shows now where it's just us on stage playing our music with some lights, and we really want to bring more. We've always wanted to bring a bigger show, but sometimes it's the resources and everything is not conducive to a larger show, but. We've really like reinvented everything that we do on stage. We've created, I think, what I think is the best show that we've had, and we've also brought as much production as we can. Some of the venues on this tour are big enough so that we can bring the whole everything that we're bringing, lights, all those other things.
Yeah.
Some of the venues are small, and we're now known to be the band on this tour who is cramming more production and lights and screens into whatever those smaller venues that they've ever had before. I think at this point, our fans really deserve as much as we can possibly give them, and even people who aren't fans, but they decide to spend their hard-earned money to come see what we do on stage. They deserve as much as they can get.
That's an interesting one, because things are tougher now, aren't they? Do you find that there's less people going to gigs, or are we spending that little bit more to enjoy ourselves because things are tougher?
It's a good question, actually. It's a good question. I think I definitely think in a few cities, maybe times are so tough that less people are going to see shows. But I think for the most part, people might be a little bit more picky as to where they're going to spend their hard-earned money. So they may not go out to see as many shows, but I don't know. I think because times are tough, what better way to sort of get your mind off of the daily grind and to go and just get lost in some music.
Zach Filkins from One Republic, the band, are in the Olympia on Monday. Tomorrow night, part 2 of the conversation and how it was so close to calling it a day. And if you're in a band where things are tough, don't give up, because you never know what's around the corner.
The 6 o'clock Rock Report. Radio Nova.
Tonight on the Rock Report, One Republic getting set to play the Olympia Theatre this coming Monday. Last night, part 1 of the conversation. Tonight, part 2 with Zach Filkins, the lead guitarist with the band. And we got to talking about venues and how bands want to play venues of a certain size. And was that the way they wanted to go, as in U2 size stadiums for One Republic?
Well, yeah, I think I don't think there are many bands who would say that they wouldn't enjoy that. But at the same time, if for some reason we got to worldwide stadium level, which is crazy, it's crazy to think. But if we did that, I think that would be very enjoyable, and we'd be able to do all the more with production to create an entire experience,
a show, an experience, right?
Yeah, I would love that. But then I would want to go on a tour of like, venues of 1,000 people or less, you know what I mean, and get back to that, because I always miss that. It reminds me of when we first started playing in LA, and no one knew or cared who we were, and we'd play the Viper Room for like 200 people. If it was 200 people, we'd be ecstatic, and I always like to go back and play shows like that too, because it reminds me of
that. Has got to be, though, so exciting. You go to LA, you play the Viper Room, you've got 200 people, then suddenly there's 220 or 250, and then you see it start to grow, and holy crap, this is starting to happen. Suddenly there's 500 people in a slightly bigger venue coming to see you guys. That's got to be exciting.
The time when that happened for us in LA was a time when we had basically decided that we were most likely going to break up as a band because nothing was happening, and we had a residency at the Key Club, which I think now the Key Club is not even open anymore, which is really unfortunate. And we decided, well, at least we'll finish up our commitments, you know, and we'll play these shows. The first Tuesday of that month, you know, it was exactly what you described. There was like 200-300 people. The next Tuesday there was like 400 or 500 people, and by the last Tuesday, there's half of the crowd had driven down from San Francisco, 7 hours away.
Come on.
And they were ecstatic to be there, and we didn't have anything on TV. We were just like, what is going on?
You weren't being played on the radio at that time?
No, we weren't being played on the radio. It was only like, it was completely us on MySpace. We didn't have a record label, or if we did, nothing was happening. Everything was stagnant, but MySpace was just like exploding.
Flying.
That's the only description. I don't know what else to say. We didn't have anything else going for us at the time.
Well, hopefully you'll get a very packed house at the Olympia Theatre on Monday night. From One Republic, Zach Filkins on Radio Nova's Rock Report. Thank you, man.
Yes, thank you very much. We'll see you soon.